to another Zelda podcast. My name is Kady Roberts, and I'm here today with my co-host, David Geisler.
Kady, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. Wow, there was a lot of enthusiasm coming in.
Thank you. I pride myself in being an enthusiastic person. I don't know if you know that about me.
I'm doing great.
I'm doing great.
What if we did the entire episode like it was like some Mountain Dew commercial from the 90s?
Oh,
all right, let's go.
I was going to say like an anime, like a 90s anime. You know?
Or the entire episode just as the Wave Race 64 announcer. You did it. That's great.
You go.
My first pick is I rule down.
That's good. Man, I was more like Ash Ketchum over here.
Yeah, that's good too. I like that.
So today we are going to be doing our top 10 places to live.
Top 10 places to live. Places we'd like to live in the Zelda series, right?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I know David grabbed from a lot of different games.
Well, tried to.
I
think I have. I mean, like, there's a few that are from the same game.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to say, leading this up to, I picked a lot from similar games.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't, I was more downplaying myself than downplaying you.
Well, no, it's all good. That's all good. I truly, genuinely tried to, like, find something in the original Legend of Zelda game, or even, like, Link's Adventure of Link. And it's hard to really cull, without some kind of narrative, it's hard to cull any of those towns. I mean, the first game doesn't even really have towns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, okay, cool. I'd love to live in that one secret cave by the water. I don't know. What are you going to say? So sometimes I do try to do weird deep dive old game cuts. Mm-hmm. Didn't exactly happen this time.
And that's okay. But before we just get right into it, let's do some listener feedback, I guess.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah, you do have an Ash Ketchum. Yeah. That's right.
I guess I'll start us off.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it! Exclamation point.
This comes to us from Apple Podcasts. As always, forgive me if I say your names wrong, but this is Kady TCM. And it says, I love this podcast in all caps with 5 stars. So thank you for that. Wow. I never felt like I was truly friends with any other podcast the way I feel with AZP. Always positive, fun content, and I am a newer Zelda fan and slowly digging my way through Breath of the Wild. Awesome. Go you.
Mm-hmm.
Question. At what point in your gaming journey do bosses become fun and not terrifying? Question mark. Love you truly. 3 green hearts. And we love you as well. And the answer is never.
I, to this day, even playing Tears, get that like heart-pounding dread as I know I'm getting closer to the boss of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And I'm every single Zelda game, even though ultimately some of the boss dungeons or boss battles end up being pretty fun, every Zelda game I've ever played, when I can feel I'm getting close to the boss, I'm kind of like, the dungeon was cool. I don't really know if I need this at the end. That's honestly my experience. Yeah,
I think the only thing that has helped me, because I still get those like terrifying, oh my god, that thing is huge, is remember you are playing a game. If you die, you can just like start the fight again, or you can choose to run the other way.
If I die in a video game, it means I'm a failure as a man.
You die in real life. If you die in the game, you die in real life.
Is that what it is? That's some kind of horror film.
I can't remember what it's from. I think it might just be a rip on Sword Art Online.
Didn't Ready Player One try to use that rule or something? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think it comes from Sword Art Online.
Sure.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, no, that's very good. That's a good point. And honestly, a lot of times with the bosses, you end up kind of getting them on that first pass anyway. It's just about, especially with Zelda bosses, it's like kind of figuring out the patterns and figuring out what kind of, because in a good Zelda game, in my opinion, the bosses are also their own versions of puzzles.
Exactly. I've mentioned her a little bit before. I'll just say her by name, though. My roommate, Sierra, she's a little bit older than me, not by much, though, but she grew up with Zelda, and she kind of, like, dropped off of it. And so I just got her into Breath of the Wild, which she is so in love with, and she's been playing it nonstop, and it makes me really happy. But she has also had those moments where she sees, like, at the beginning of the game, she sees a red bokoblin, and she's just, like, screaming in the living room, like, trying to run the other way, freaking out. And I'm like, you're fine.
Well,
like,
but because all she has is a stick and a roll of duct tape.
Exactly. And it's been really gratifying seeing her like build up and come up to me and be like, I fought a silver one and I did it. And I was like, I'm so proud of you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So she used to play Zelda games. she knew to, like, I almost asked if she knew to video games, but I guess not if she used to play Zelda
Yeah,
games.
her and her sisters used to play when they were younger, and then she kind of dropped off of gaming. She plays League, and she plays some party games with her friends sometimes.
Sure.
But she doesn't game much, which is why I love making people gamers around me. So it makes me really happy I got her into Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Let me pull one up here. Let's see. I've got one from YouTube.
Ooh.
It was from our favorite monsters episode, Kady. Episode 15 of season 6. And
it's crazy how many episodes we've done.
yeah, I know. Let's see here. It's Love Crumb messaged us, or left a comment on YouTube rather, and it says, "The infectious enthusiasm Kady and David share when they talk about Zelda always warms my heart." Face with 3 heart emoji. My favorite monster from the entire series is Batru. Oh, you know who that is now. I love him to pieces, and I have to get all the gratitude crystals every time I play Skyward Sword just to make him happy.
Yes.
Edit. I forgot to add, thank you, Kady, for teaching me how to fight the Flux constructs. I also love fighting them, but I've always just been doing it the same way. I never thought to use recall or to grab their core.
Wow, really? I'm glad I taught someone something.
I'm still avoiding the Flux constructs because when I've been dipping back into Tears, and honestly, the last couple times I've played, I was thinking to myself, I was like, Kady's mentioned a cool way to defeat these bosses, and I can never remember.
Yeah.
So I've just been avoiding them, but now I remember.
Which makes me so proud because I thought that was like the way everyone was beating them. I thought I was just like following the trend because I managed to do it without looking it up.
Oh, yeah.
Me. So to hear other people be like, oh my gosh, I never thought to do it that way. I'm like,
so
amazing.
You recall their core like out of their central processing unit?
So there's like 3 different phases, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one and the second one, you do the same, which is using the, it's not magnesis, but it's the one where you can like
Ultra
grab
hand?
and pull stuff. Yeah, Ultra Hand. Where you just grab and pull the core, whether they're like standing up or the block is moving. The third one though is when they're in the air and they shoot. They have like the core in the middle up top. They shoot all of like the little blocks on the ground. You can hop up on them and recall, and it brings you all the way up to them. So then you can, instead of just hitting it with an arrow, you can just keep slashing the core on top.
That's cool. Yes, I've not even gotten to that point with the Flux constructs because my strategy was to use Ultra Hand, but I never thought about the core. It seems so obvious. I was picking them apart piece by piece as fast as I could. I was like, ooh, if I just rip them apart fast enough. Come on.
Yeah, I think the Flux constructs are one of like the coolest enemies added into Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, interesting.
Which we'll probably talk about in the next episode, which is going to be our favorite changes between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Just a little plug there. But yeah, also whenever you defeat them, they give you the Flux cores, and they're super powerful to add to weapons.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Great.
Cool. Okay,
I'll move on to the next one. This one is also an Apple podcast. This is HEHHZIZ. Hezes?
Yep, sure.
Amazing. 5 stars. Please talk about the remake of Link's Awakening, especially make an episode about the amazing music, which we did just do a Link's Awakening remastered, but we did also talk about in that episode how we want to do a music
episode. Isn't that weird? That's why I threw this one into this
That's crazy.
Episode.
The music episodes are amazing, and please do more. I agree. I love them. This is by far the best Zelda podcast and has made me want to play more of the games.
Well, making people want to play more Zelda games is exactly the point. That's awesome.
Thank you so much for your lovely comment.
We'll make them want to play.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me do another one. Let's see here. For me, I've got this is a little interesting. It's an Apple Podcast review. Your least favorite fan is the name of the person's. I don't think that's not part of the review. That's the name of the person's tag.
Oh, that's
so maybe that
name.
Applies to any of the reviews anywhere. Anyways, the title of the actual review over on Apple Podcast is "Love This." 1 star. I'm not trying to make fun at all. Of course, the 5 stars obviously help us a lot with the algorithm and everything like that. Maybe there was something misunderstood here, but either way, love this. I'm a hardcore Zelda fan who spends every waking moment learning more about the series. I've tried several other podcasts, including the Zelda Cast. They are friends of ours, but you're my absolute favorite. My favorite Zelda game was Breath of the Wild, an amazing introduction to the series. But I have since played Tears of the Kingdom, Wind Waker, A Link to the Past, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and Link's Awakening.
Nice.
I'm going to get Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask soon and can't wait. Keep up the good work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Maybe I should have counted these ahead of time. 22, 23 green heart emojis.
23.
P.S. I've always pronounced Hylian the way you say Hyrule. Hylian. And I found it interesting how David says it like Hylian.
Yeah, I always thought it was Hylian as well.
It's absolutely Hylian. I just accidentally always say Hylian. It just feels right to say Hylian sword to me, but I completely agree. It's Hylian. Hylian sword, Hylian, Hyrule. It's one of those things, you know, as a kid, I would say Hylian, and that's just how it goes down. Anyways, yeah, thank you so much, your least favorite fan.
For the 1-star
For the 1-star review. But nevertheless, even more importantly, we just appreciate your words and your enthusiasm for the Zelda games and all of the green hearts. Even though the algorithm may not technically care about the green hearts, we do.
Yeah, we love it. I like your little gimmick that you got going on. I think it's amazing. Keep doing it. Never stop.
Never stop being your least favorite fan.
Yes.
I think we got one more here.
Yes, I have one last one. I think this one comes to us from YouTube, specifically the music of Wind Waker, which was episode 17 of this season.
That's the one I did with Mallory Kuhn, one of our blog writers.
I believe this is pronounced Syaran? Syaran?
Syaoran. Syaran. Yeah, sure.
Syaran.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Another great episode. Have so many memories of this game. One of the reasons my GameCube is probably my favorite Nintendo console. Been listening to you since the first season, and it is still a joy. Love from Portugal, and wish you a Merry Christmas, Red Heart.
Wow. Cool. Excellent. Thank you from Portugal. Listening since the beginning, I love it too. I've also noticed over the past couple episodes, there's a lot of Wind Waker talk about people playing it on the GameCube. So playing the original Wind Waker, not the HD release.
Absolutely.
Both are very nice, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously I haven't touched Wind Waker yet, but my roommate Sarah that I keep bringing up, constantly is trying to get me to play Wind Waker, but she played it on the GameCube.
On GameCube, yeah. It's great. I mean, I loved Wind Waker on the GameCube. There's a little bit of quality of life on Wind Waker HD, which we spoke about in our Wind Waker review episode. A little bit that might make it just a touch smoother, but either's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
The only thing that's actually really the weirdest part about the two is that on Wind Waker HD, or rather on original Wind Waker, you know, we were talking about this in our last episode, just kind of how the the vernacular of video games changes every 8 to 10 years, and just what the industry and what gamers want and need. There was a time when, you know, lives in video games was really important. And now the way video games work, the amount of lives you have doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? It's not even a thing anymore. But back in the Mario Brothers days or the Donkey Kong days, when people are putting quarters into machines, the amount of lives and then running out of that, so you have to put another quarter in, was very important.
Yeah.
Once we got into console gaming, that didn't matter anymore. And so it took about another 10 years for the lives mechanic to fade away, unless it's a game that's very based on like points, but I digress. We also talked about how save states and save points have changed over the years. I think one other thing that sometimes is overlooked is that back in the 2000s, the early 2000s, everybody, for one reason or another, liked their right stick inverted, vertical inverted. So you push down to look up and you push up to look down. And that was just where video game was for camera controls at the time. I think that that's probably a layover from the C buttons on the Nintendo 64. So with the buttons pushing down and looking up, actually kind of does make sense. But when you have the joystick, the invert was very popular for a long time. But actually it was the Halo series that popularized non-inverted. So you push up to look up and down to look down. And then it kind of just changed the game from there on out. That is all to say that when you play Twilight Princess and or Wind Waker on the GameCube, the camera is inverted and you cannot change it. And in the HD versions, they have an option to switch it back, but their default state is non-inverted. Yeah. And by 20 years later, after playing these games, it was pretty hard to play them in the inverted mode. I have to be honest.
No, most games have that, and I guess I never realized why. Because I was always like, well, who would want to invert their controls? But I guess that makes sense if the old games were like that.
It's the buttons. Star Fox for Super Nintendo, you would push down to go up and up to go down, because it emulates what you're doing to the joystick in the cockpit.
Yeah, which I was gonna say, I never play with inverted controls unless I'm doing a flying game. So there you go. In Skyward Sword, my regular looking around controls are normal, but I changed my flying to inverted.
I did the exact same thing.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Even when I was playing Kirby, I like inverted my flight controls.
Yeah. because again, like I said, your brain
like
is
in a
thinking like,
cockpit.
what are you doing to the joystick? And then
Yeah.
then the thing does the thing. Anyways, so that is all to say, like, I actually jumped back into Twilight Princess on my GameCube about half a year ago, maybe a year ago. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful, so gorgeous. It's so great to see it in this, weird 4:3 aspect ratio. And I actually prefer the bloom on the GameCube Twilight Princess compared to the HD remake. There's a couple effects that were GameCube specific that make it look really beautiful. But boy, oh boy, my camera was all over the place. I kept staring at the ground, staring at the sky, and I was like, I don't know. Actually, has it happened? Has it gone too far? Can I not do this? Anyways,
that's amazing.
Thank you for all the listener feedback.
Thank you guys.
We have plenty more, but we're trying to keep it to about 5 an episode right now.
Yeah, and any comments help. Even if we don't read them out into an episode, we still like looking at all of them, and we love you guys for even just interacting at all. Or if you don't feel comfortable interacting, even just listening, we thank you guys.
Thank you.
So moving on though to the actual episode itself, I guess.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
I'll stop with the beat. Or the bit.
We're talking about our favorite places to live. So basically, if we were...
Did you practice your Ash? Because that is spot on. I don't want to pull you off.
No. I swear, I don't practice. I if I want to, I can sound like Ash. Tara Strong, don't come for me, please. I love you though. If you did come to me,
just be the next Tara Strong. You got this. Actually, the two of you have similar vocal ranges.
We do. That's why she's like my idol. I love her so much because she's like everything I dreamed to be.
Interesting.
Man, I love you. I love you, Tara Strong. If you're listening. But we're doing Zelda towns where we would live if we were in the Zelda games.
Well, if I may, some of mine aren't even towns. They're just places where I'd want to live.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to say I titled my notes Zelda towns, but also I'm in the same boat. Some of mine are not even towns at all. But yeah, I guess we'll start. We each have 5, and then we have honorable mentions.
Because Katie chose 10.
I chose 10 and was confused on what the premise of this was.
No, it's fine. And honestly, I think I might have a couple honorable mentions as well.
But some of mine were just like some of my 10 at the bottom were me just slapping stuff on to be like, I need 10. So it's okay.
So honorable mentions. There we go.
Honorable mentions. So yeah, we'll start with our number 5. David, did you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. It might be kind of like a weird one, but let's do it. My number 5 being out of my 5 that I like the most. This is the least. We're going up into the things we like the most. This is honest and not a joke. I 100% think I would enjoy, as my 5th selection, living in Kakariko Village in Tears of the Kingdom. And not in any of the buildings. I want to be part of the research team in the tents, up on those planks, like, making it work, figuring out. I mean, I'm sure it was terrifying when those things crashed down, the big rings and all that. And there is fine, the universe of Tears, Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom is going through a lot of unrest or whatever. But just aesthetically, like being a Kakariko Village, even though there's a lot of research going on, maybe those things fell and it was traumatic. But at least when you enter in Tears of the Kingdom, they've pretty much gone back to their normal way of life. And then it's just a bunch of scientists trying to figure out what's going on. Hopefully scientists, hopefully not, other people, or whatever, just like, conspiracy theorists or whatever.
Yeah.
But at that point, who knows what's going on, but it just seems like a cool aesthetic. I love the whole ladders up and down, all the pseudo treehouse type of stuff. And I think that could be kind of fun. It'd be fun to live there. An exciting time to live in Kakariko Village.
Kakariko was one of my honorable mentions. I think if I was on like a 10 scale.
Specifically Tears? Because there's so many Kakarikos.
I was going to say, I think specifically Breath of the Wild. Before all the crazy stuff happened. Because I loved the aesthetic. I liked the classic Japanese countryside vibe going on. And I liked how close of a community it seemed to be.
Yes, definitely. Love that.
And I just would love to dress up in the same little outfits they all got.
It's the wardrobe. It's cool aesthetic. It is.
It is really cool.
Yeah. Except you got those sneaky Yigas sneaking around. Nah, I'm just joking.
You know what?
No, he's a good guy. I forget his name right now.
Koga,
yeah, he's a good guy.
Talking about Koga, Sierra beat him yesterday and went through the Yiga clan. And she was like,
wait, are you beat Koga? Oh, Master Koga?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking about Koga. I'm talking about the one security guard that used to work for the Yiga. We can absolutely keep talking about Koga. But when I said he's a good guy, I'm definitely not talking about Koga.
I was going to say, I guess he's a good guy.
I mean Katsu or whatever his name is. I forget his name right now. The guy that has the 2 daughters.
But she beat him finally in Breath. And she looked at me. She's like, are you kidding me? I was like, what? She's like, I was so stressed. I was taking hours trying to get through this place. and I beat him in like 3 fell swoops. I was like, yeah. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So my number 5 on my list is actually from Age of Calamity.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I love a lot of places in Age of Calamity, but I only wanted to do one because I didn't want to take the time going in and out and like looking at all of them, because I did beat the game, but like I could go back in, but then all of them are still changed because it's the end of the game. It's complicated if you haven't played.
Well, some of those levels, the geometry's pulled directly out of the Breath of the Wild maps, and then some it gets a little more abstract.
Mm-hmm. But mine is specifically Hyrule Castletown.
Yeah.
From like, I think it's the first or second level of the game.
I think it's the very first level. It's amazing.
And it's, first off, you got safety, right? You're inside the castle walls. Not like there's no monsters coming after you. They got the artillery there, so it's all good.
Yeah.
And then there's like tons of beautiful buildings. They got different shops set up all around that you can see. You got like, I'm like, obviously when you're in there, you're like fighting people, but I can just like imagine like you got like the guards chilling out over here, and like there's a lady selling little apples, and like I feel like there's always going to be something to do and something to see, and someone to talk to. And then, you know, if you want to go out, you can like go out, ride the stables. But I think it'd be a cool place to live. It's walkable, you know. I'm thinking realistically here.
I agree. Yeah.
And also,
you said Castletown. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong place. Castletown, like inside the castle walls.
It looks like it's inside the castle walls.
Which is, I think you're right.
Yeah, Hyrule Castletown.
That may not be the first level in Age, but you're absolutely right. That does exist in Age.
Yeah, I think the first one is
it's just outside of the Great
running around
Plateau.
The plains.
Yeah.
But it's like one of like the first ones that you play.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, that's probably
Super
my number
cool.
5.
Ooh, I love that. I'm a big fan of castle towns in Zelda games, and actually one of those might show up on my list.
Okay, your number 4?
I don't want to get too like off topic or meta.
No, absolutely.
But you're absolutely right. It is cold in here. It's already down to 68 in this room. I don't know if I know we talked about this to our patrons in the pre-show part, but we are recording this along with 2 other episodes during the absolute coldest day of the winter here in Chicago. It's -10 outside, feels like -30. We can feel the cold coming off the windows. And so what we did is we can't have the heater on while we record. So we cranked the heat up to 77 in this room that we're recording in right now. We were cooking. We turned it off. We've been recording for 20 minutes. It's already down to 68. It has dropped 10 degrees in an insulated building. We're not outside.
No.
It is just the literal cold coming off the glass windows, which are also, storm windows are down. Those are insulated.
Yeah.
That's how cold it is outside, and I can feel it on the left side of my body.
No, it's freezing. But we do this for you, listeners. We do it for you.
There was a moment where we were like, do we still get together today because it's a -30 degree wind chill?
Be like, I'll Uber.
Yeah. Thank you for still braving the weather and getting over here, Kady. Anyways, I looked at the thermostat and it's already 68. I can't believe 10 degrees. It's dropped 10 degrees in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We've got 10 minutes to go and we got to turn that heater back on.
Okay.
All right. My number 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 4. I'm excited about this one. Some refer to it as Lon Lon Farm, but I'll still call it Lon Lon Ranch.
Okay.
But not Lon Lon Ranch from Ocarina. I'm talking about Lon Lon Ranch.
Twilight?
From Minish Cap.
From Minish.
Yeah. Sweet little area. Lon Lon Ranch kind of sneaks up on you when you're playing Minish Cap. It is not in the middle of any kind of field. It's not a central location or anything like that. It's actually in the kind of upper northeast part of the map. But it is just kind of a functioning little, and it's also, that's why some of my sources call it Lon Lon Farm, because it is just a milk farm. And I know that's implied in Ocarina as well, but there aren't any horses at this one or anything like that. I don't have anything against horses.
Yeah. But
it's just a sweet little tucked into the woods farm. Malon's there, Talon's there. They're minding their own business. There's a nice field in the background. Technically, you dig a hole and find, we just talked about Link's Awakening last episode. There's another tricksy witch character down in the field, which she gives you some extra stuff, which is not that big a deal. Maybe she actually does give you the powder now that I think about it. But in general, it's in a very relaxed part of the map, and it's nice and cozy. Whereas Lon Lon Ranch is super cool in Ocarina, but it's kind of that pedestal in the middle of the field. This one's tucked into the woods, and a little bit of low-key farm life sometimes is cool.
I was going to say, you should go to my uncle's cow farm.
Perhaps.
Live the life.
Well, my family, my dad's side, they had the largest dairy farm in Wisconsin over in Prairie du Chien, individually owned or whatever,
Yeah.
for the longest time. And then they finally sold it when a certain amount of family members passed away, and then the land has been sold now. But my father's side, our roots are in Prairie du Chien in Wisconsin. And so I've been down the massive barns with 40 cows staring at you, and then you go to the other island, it's 40 cow butts. And that's all of that is still a little too big for my taste. Lon Ranch, this Lon farm is like, they're milking 6 or 7 cows, got a couple crops growing, kind of like I think some of our listeners know that I've been able to build a couple cabins here and there in my life, small little things, basically sheds. But I've always figured that step 2 of that experience would be to grow some crops and maybe have some chickens or something.
Nice.
And that is something that is still a checklist on my life to fulfill someday. And so Lon Farm or Lon Ranch in Minish Cap for me goes in that direction.
That's amazing. We learn a little bit more about David every day. So my number 4 is specifically from Tears of the Kingdom, and it's Tarrytown.
Wow.
Love Tarrytown. First off, I love it that you get to build it in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Which already makes me super attached to this place. But in Tears, the place has really come into its own. And there's so many different people from all over the maps there. So it's like such a diverse culture. They got the mining work going on. And then also, you would be able to test the first cars in Hyrule, and to drive them around the racetrack.
That whole play field behind Tarrytown is a lot of fun.
It's so cool, and just all the houses look so cozy.
So the real question is, Kady, because everybody who goes to Tarrytown starts a business. What business would you start?
Oh, that's a good question.
If your last name ended in what is it? Son, yeah.
Robertson.
It's so close. Kady Robertson.
I would have a instrument shop.
Oh wow.
And I would get Link and Ocarina.
Because there really isn't an ocarina. There's a couple ocarinas pop up in a couple of the games, but not these recent ones. Maybe they're like we've been there. Nice. Oops, that's our alarm to record our next episode.
I also got it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it.
I don't have much to say.
Tarrytown and Tears of the Kingdom. Tarrytown. So would you? Well, if you're making instruments. What they live in those shops too, right? I'm sorry, I was just thinking it through. They have the shop on the bottom, and a lot of the people live in those homemade houses.
Yeah, they either have the shop on the bottom or live up top, or they just live in their own house, and then in the little circle area they have little booths set up.
Oh, booths out front sometimes. Yeah. Cool. Besides ocarinas, what would you make? I'm not trying to stretch this out. I'm just wondering.
No. I would make all sorts of instruments. I grew up playing percussion for nine years.
Really?
So, yeah.
I played percussion.
No kidding.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was a percussionist for 9 years. So I'd be making all the drums, timpanis, xylophones, all that kind of good stuff.
So you knew how to read music?
Yeah.
Because I played piano and was a percussionist, so I always got thrown on the timpanis because I was the only one that could tune them.
Mm-hmm.
I always got thrown on the glockenspiel because I was the only one that could kind of read the music and play it. I wasn't very good at it, but I was the only one in percussion that could do it. Everybody else was drumming on the snares.
Yeah.
Was it like that for you too?
Well, I was on everything. So the issue was my school was so small. We had 8th grade in our high school, so it was 8th to 12th, and including that, our whole high school was 500 people.
Wow.
So our band in turn was 30, 40 people.
I see.
And we had one band teacher. We had no percussion teacher, nothing like that. And there was 4 of us in percussion.
I see.
They would start pulling people from different sections. So when I was marching, I was lead snare, but I also played in the pit. I played bass, timpani, glockenspiel, bass drum, tambourine.
Wow, yeah. Did you ever do the tubular bells with the hammers?
Yeah. I did the chimes.
Yeah, chimes as well.
Yeah, I did all of it.
Mm-hmm. The little wavy fingers along the chimes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We even had some African drums that we would play in certain songs.
Djembes and stuff. And
all of it.
Wow, you learn a little something about Kady every day.
Schrodinger's getting fed. Food. Finally, Schrode.
Unfortunately, the room we record this in is the same room that the automatic cat feeder's in. I don't think I thought that one through. I might have to move where the automatic cat feeder's located.
It's okay. Schrode has been literally starving all day.
No.
He's been trying to get food all day.
He's been acting like he's starving. We had a lunch break before recording this episode, and we had some chicken salad and sandwiches and stuff, and he was a drama queen. He was pretending, I'm so starving, so famished. Please, if you could just give me any of this food you're eating, please. He's fine.
Yeah, he's a healthy boy.
What if we go to break, if I may?
Okay.
And then come back and do the other 3?
Absolutely. I will try and take us to break.
I kind of threw it at you. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Shush. Okay. We're gonna take a break here, and when we come back, we'll do our top 3 places we would live.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's the first day of school, and I'm walking around downtown Chicago with hundreds of other students. Everyone's getting back from summer break, and you can tell that they're happy to see each other after a couple months. For me, however, it's been a little longer. Hi, I'm David, and I want to introduce you to Returning Student, a documentary podcast that I've been making about my return to a college that I left 20 years ago. I'm back in the same city, at the same school, the same student ID number. Everything else feels completely different. My fellow classmates are literally half my age. My professors work in my industry. Sometimes I wonder why I've come back at all. But then I get the opportunity to sit down with one of my professors and have a conversation with them, which usually yields a little bit of wisdom. You can find the show on all major podcast providers, as well as our website, returningstudentpodcast.com. A lot has changed over the past 2 decades.
And we are back from break.
Mm-hmm. And a good break it was.
A lovely break. It was an hour long.
I mean, no joke, it was like 15 seconds. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes we take real breaks. This one was I
Yeah.
just reset the camera for Patreon and we went right back into it.
Yeah, I kind of prefer doing it that way. It keeps the conversation going.
Yeah, I concur.
So talking about top 3, I finished off with Terrytown. So what would your 3rd town you would like to live in?
I've spoken about this place before on the show.
I have a feeling I know what it is.
Can you guess it?
Is it Maeve? Maeve Village?
No. Wow, no. That's
Okay.
nice though. That's cute. I like that.
Or-
That's an honorable mention.
Or Lurelin?
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. I was going to say Maeve or Lurelin.
Yeah. I mean, I almost didn't want to include it because I'm almost, I've been beating this drum far too long for too many years, but it works.
This is the episode for you. This is the episode for you to do that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Laurelin Village in Breath of the Wild specifically is perfect. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course. That's like the place to live. Are you kidding me? Nice little beachy shacks that people are living in. Everyone's kind of doing their own fishing,
Mhm.
producing their own crops and just kind of laying low. And it's a really beautiful little cove of where the ocean comes in and stuff like that. Low key vibes. So
Yeah.
low key that it's not even officially on the map until you discover it. It just says
Yeah.
Laurelin Village. It's not even marked as an actual village.
Yeah, I love Lurelin. That was one of my little honorable mentions. I think the town first off is really great. Living by the water sounds amazing. I really like it in Tears as well, though. I don't know how far you are in Tears.
I mean, I've seen the pirates, but
Yeah.
I haven't attacked them yet or anything. So I haven't seen it come back if
Okay.
it does.
Basically, though, you get to interact more with Lurelin and kind of help fix up the town a bit.
Oh wow, I can't wait. That's motivation for me to go there more now.
It's fantastic. And that originally Lurelin, I was like, oh yeah, okay, nice beach town. So it was kind of low. But after doing that in Tears, I was like, Lurelin shot up to some of my favorite town.
I like that. I love that. For me, it's just the vibes. It's really that simple. It's like I would probably pick to live in a place like that in real life.
Yeah.
And it is that simple. I love that it's you come down a little valley to get down there.
Yeah. It really does feel kind of like a place right off the coast, and it feels almost like a vacation spot, but without all the crazy tourists, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Places I like to live, they don't have to be tropical, but a little tropical vibe is fun. My iPad just died, so that's why I was grabbing other stuff just now. Thanks for kind of vamping there, Kady. But I do have my notes up on my phone now. It's okay.
Cool. Any more about Lurelin?
I mean, not much more that I've already said in other episodes, though I don't want to just throw it out to those other episodes. In particular, What would I like do in Laurelland Village?
Yeah.
I'm a terrible fisherman.
Okay.
Even though I like the concept.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't know what I would do there. What I would bring to the community.
Hey, you know what? Maybe you don't even have to bring anything. Maybe they'll just be like, welcome to have you. That seems like the town that would just be like, hey, you know what? Just come stay.
Welcome to have you. Yeah, perhaps. Then it's 2 months later. Is he here? He's still here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe you can like...
He's coming.
I was going to say, maybe you can help like clean the shrine. Just keep the shrine tidy. That'll be your keep.
No, I mean, actually, as I think about it, do you know what? I know exactly what it would be. It would be hut maintenance and stuff like that.
Yeah, there
It'd be
you
like
go.
building more huts.
I was going to say, you said you could like build shacks and stuff.
I can build shacks and stuff. Yep.
There you go. You're set.
Yeah, it depends. It's all about the verbiage. Is it a shack? Is it a cabin? It depends.
Yeah. I mean,
is a small cabin a shack? Depends on what you make it out of.
There you go. It depends. Is a house a home? Is a house a home?
A house isn't a home until it has a cat, is what I've heard.
So my number 3.
Really? I'm kind of throwing you off today.
We're just gonna move on from that one. I'm a little turned off. Don't worry.
Just say turned off.
No, I said thrown off.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. My number 3 would have to be Breath of the Wild. Again, a lot of these are Breath of the Wild. I apologize.
It's okay.
I'm playing more games. Don't worry.
Laurelland Village, Breath of the Wild. No? Oh.
No, so sorry. It is actually Gerudo Town.
Oh, interesting. I mean, yeah. That's cool.
Amazing.
It's
First off, no guys. Sorry, David. Women's society is kind of cool. Also, the Gerudo women are the 3 Ts. They are tall, tan, and toned.
Fair enough.
Absolutely adore them. And I think as a civilization, it's really cool. And the fact that it feels, I don't even know how to say it, how it feels. Like, I like how they made their buildings out of like the sandstone.
I love that. Yes.
And even when you get over to Tears, they have like little underground parts that you can go to. I like the classes. I think that if I was there, I would work as a teacher, but I wouldn't teach like how to get a VO classes. I would teach like Hyrule slang or like how to speak like a Hyrulean.
That's one of my favorite things about Tears with the Gerudo is how they openly talk about their own language in the game. I thought it was such a cool addition.
Yeah, I would teach like how to talk like a Hylian.
A Hylian? A Hylian? A Hylian? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I
know because we want to say Hylian.
You want to say Hylian. I want to say Hylian. And also, oh my gosh, I feel so bad I'm blanking on her name right now, but the head girl that runs it, adore her. I think she is the coolest person ever, and I think she would be like such a good ruler.
I think this is something for the next episode, but I really enjoyed what Nintendo did with her growth from the first game to the second.
Absolutely. I think she's lovely. Just the town as a whole, it seems really fun. Everyone's really chill. The only downside,
except for when a man walks in there.
Well, yeah,
I'm just joking around. I'm just joking.
You could do a little dress up and get in. And also, I could have my own sea walrus or whatever, sand walrus.
Sand seal.
Sand seal. Thank you. The only downside would be I can't handle heat very well.
Okay. Or cold, apparently, we're learning in real life. I'm just joking.
Yeah, both of them. But I can just pop like a fire potion or like a cool potion or whatever, and I'll be set.
Katie Roberts, addicted to cool down potions.
Yeah. Or have stop by and have like a noble pursuit,
Yeah.
Something like that.
Fair enough. That's awesome. That's cool. My second place I'd want to live, second to the top, is in Twilight Princess.
Okay.
And it's Link's house. Come on. I mean, I think you've at least seen pictures of it, right? Nothing? Okay. Oof. This might be worth showing.
I was going to say.
I will speak to it while I'm doing a quick Google. I don't usually like to do this on air because it kind of fills time, but Link's, maybe I'll just include the audience in the search here. Link's house, Twilight Kingdom, I almost said. Princess. Katie, I'm going to share this with you. So why don't you just kind of scrub left and right into these images? You can kind of see what's going on here. So Link lives in a treehouse. It's 3 stories, but not really. It's like one big hollow core with a library balcony on the inside. And then you ladder up to the library balcony. And then you ladder up one more time to his actual bed where he has a little window that overlooks the meadow. Beautiful fireplace, proper cooking and stuff like that down on the first floor. It's hollowed out. It's the hollowed out core of a tree. So maybe you'd have some pest issues a little bit, like honestly, if I'm being serious about that. But super cool. Are you seeing it there?
Yeah. How is that not your number one? That's
It's
gorgeous.
close. I know, right? This is Link's treehouse or Link's house in Twilight Princess is one of my like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this is terrible radio. This is terrible audio. I'm just showing you pictures right now. But yeah, that is like the situation. I'm not even making sentences right now. I apologize.
No, you're good. I was completely forgetting the fact that in Tears of the Kingdom, you get to build your own house.
That's true. Over in Terrytown, right?
Yeah, in Terrytown. I should have mentioned that. That's also up there in houses for me because that's amazing.
Link's house. It's so cozy. It's so but also still very cabin-y, cabin-esque. You know, it's still kind of like rough, not rough and tumble, but it's a little bit, rough around the edges. As far as
in a charming way.
Yeah, I think so too. There's a lot of texture as far as the aesthetics of the people who built it. The game designers who like made the actual level area, tons of detail. You can just imagine like the cups of tea and the cups of, putting the kettle on and all that kind of stuff. And
I was going to say, looking at it, it really feels like they inspired what you could make Link's house, Tears of the Kingdom based off of that. Because there was some stuff that I was like, oh, that reminds me of like the reading nook that you can get. That reminds me of the kitchen part you can get.
I have not done any of that in Tears yet.
Yeah.
That might be a lot of fun when that happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot more like modern, new age type style, but it has a lot of those similar aspects to it.
I see.
My number 2 is not from Breath. It is not from Age of Calamity, and it's not from Tears. It is something...
What other games have you played so far? Link's Awakening or Skyward Sword? Is it something in Skyward Sword?
It is. It is Skyloft.
All of Skyloft?
All of Skyloft.
Sure.
Well, specifically like the main island in Skyloft.
Yeah.
Where everyone lives. I love Skyloft. Literally, okay. First off, you get your own bird. Bird's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's like the cool night school. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You got the Car Bazaar. I got my boy Beetle.
There's a lot going on there.
I love Beetle. There's so much going on. There's 2 downsides to this.
Well, you are amped up right now.
I'm amped up.
Totally into this.
I love Skyloft. Like I love Skyloft so much. It's one of my favorite parts about Skyward Sword. I think Skyward Sword does such a good job with making the town feel alive, with being able to talk to the NPCs and do the gratitude crystals and everything. Only downsides are, 1, monsters come out at night. But you know what? I don't need to be outside anyways.
The cats turn evil at night. I'm just
yeah.
Kidding. Yeah.
The other thing is I'm afraid of heights.
And there are a couple staircases that just kind of go from island to island. That would be like a little like, ooh. But would you be scared of heights if you were born there? I mean, I guess you moved there.
Yeah, that's the only thing is I'm scared of heights. So the thought of having to fly around to get places is a little scary.
Though, every time Link slips off an island, he gets picked up by one of those bird policemen.
That's the thing. That's my only thing is I'm like, if I fall off, I'll get like picked up by a bird policeman. Or if I fall off, I can just like call my bird and she'll help me out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Which predates the horse whistle in Breath of the Wild. That's cool. Anyway.
There you go. It's cool. And also I could just like fly over to the Lumpy Pumpkin and have a nice meal.
Yeah.
It'll be great. I love Skyloft so much.
I mean, I really, really like Skyloft too. When playing Skyward Sword, I wish there was like maybe 3 or 4 more of those in the game.
Absolutely. I wish there was more than just Skyloft. I wish there was like different sections or different towns in the sky.
Yeah.
But I get that the game is more about the earth than anything else.
When Kate and I did the Skyward Sword review episode a few seasons ago, one of our comments, or at least one of the things I realized, was basically Skyloft in Skyward Sword is Hyrule Field, Castletown, and Kakariko Village all compressed into
all in one.
Which at the time I was being a little critical, saying like, oh, they could have made that many islands, or they pushed it all into one thing, and it's just so they didn't have to build more stuff or whatever. But on a positive note, when you do make something that dense, it is tremendously charming and tremendously livable and very cool.
Exactly. It feels like the most realistic town, or like one of the most realistic towns I've seen in Zelda, because there is so much and everyone has their own thing going on. It's really cool. I would love to live there.
I'm in. I like it. Yeah. But don't go swimming because you might, well, I guess if you just fall off the waterfall, you still get picked up by the bird police. That's right. That's right. All right. My final, let me check okay. Yep. There we go. This is a deep cut,
Okay.
and I'm gonna have to just like explain it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's from Twilight Princess again.
Okay.
And it actually is part of Castle Town. And I'm actually really excited for you to play Twilight Princess and experience the Castle Town in Twilight Princess. It's also a very well realized kind of space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's quite as broad as Skyloft, but it's not supposed to be. But
Yeah.
a lot of life, a lot of activity, a lot of vendors. There's just tremendous amounts of NPCs. It actually truly feels like a busy, bustling city.
Nice.
And so as much as I personally love to live, I guess you could say in the wilderness, I also really love living in a big, busy city.
Which is why we're in Chicago.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
It's 100% true. Live in Chicago, then go to the woods. Or maybe vice versa. You know what I mean? Anyways, no, I don't know if I'd want to live in the woods and then visit Chicago. I like the living in Chicago and visiting the woods
That's
thing.
how I am
But anyway.
here. I like living here in Chicago and visiting back home and like the cornfields
Like the rural,
and
yeah.
like the grasslands and everything, the trees, all that kind of nature stuff. But I like living where there's like a lot happening, a lot of people. It's fun.
Everyone has the right to live wherever they want and however they want. For me, something like a suburb is a little less, it just doesn't kind of like get me excited very much. And it's a little bit of that grayness. And some people want that grayness, and that's okay. You know, maybe if you're trying to like raise a family or something, maybe that actually makes a lot of sense. But I really love being in the woods because so much is going on. Every little bird and chirp and animal and critter and leaf and the weather that's coming in, you can see it from miles away. Like there's so much happening when you're out in the woods. And when you're in the middle of a city, there's so much happening, right? It's every little honk and tree, or not tree, every honk and car and bird and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And every bike going by and all the rest. And I love it. So that is to say that I did try to think of like, what's my city experience in Twilight or in Zelda at all? And I couldn't quite get it from Breath of the Wild, though I think your Age of Calamity Castle Town, and actually basically I'm picking another Castle Town.
Yeah.
But like your Age of Calamity Castle Town got me pretty interested. I do very much enjoy the Castle Town in Twilight Princess. There's even alleys. There's even like little crooks and nooks and crannies and things like that. But there's a specific spot. There's a cafe in the main central fountain. And layout wise, actually, you know, some feel that the Twilight Princess Castle Town is also the Breath of the Wild Castle Town because the fountain has the same ornament on it and the layout's is exactly the same. This kind of like half circle thing. So when you play Twilight Princess, I can't wait for you to play it. And maybe to some degree, you'll be like, ooh, this is intriguing.
Yeah.
With all that said, there's a cafe to the, I guess you could say the lower left. What is left when you're talking about a map, but or an area. There's this little cafe, but if you poke around in the cafe, there's a door in the back that you can go up through basically a back stairwell. And when it's, let me get what the actual title for this is. I have it in my notes. It's technically simply called, this area is technically just called the observation deck, but it's a second floor, small little balcony. On the inside, it's a space that clearly could be like the equivalent of a tiny home or something like that, a bedroom and a little kitchen and all of that kind of stuff. And it's a second floor little balcony that looks out over Castletown and the fountain and the whole thing. And it feels like this charming little European village, like, but not little, I guess, like a hub.
Yeah.
And to be able to be up a floor, I mean, I guess I like being up a little bit, like the treehouse too. Being up a little bit, having your own little place to live, but also the concept of having a cup of coffee on a balcony, looking over the hustle and bustle of the market and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Sounds so cool.
I mean, I bet it's a lot more chill, but it kind of reminds me of how much I enjoyed when I was a bit younger. My aunt ended up like renting a little place, like balcony up like 2-3 floors right on Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Yes.
And so we sat out there and just people watched. And it was so cool with all like the different kinds of people and like the music that came through. And it kind of had that similar feeling of like, this is so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very neat. It's in game you technically find a Goron there, and he's kind of like, you know, you buy some arrows from him and whatever, and it's like that. But I would convert that into a place, into an apartment.
You'd buy the place from him and we'll set you up somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, getting a front row seat to the main fountain of Castletown, but you're just far enough away that like people who maybe ne'er-do-wells aren't like keeping you up at night or anything like that. Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be fun. So yeah, up in a tree or up in a building.
Up somewhere.
I didn't realize
Clearly I'm up in the sky.
I did not connect that theme, but anyway. What was my second one? Oh, it really was the Twilight Princess house.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy, I'm learning something about myself today.
So my number 1 is Breath of the Wild again, shocker, shocker, but it is Hateno Village.
Okay.
It is a village that is very near and dear to my heart. It's my favorite one in all of the Zelda games. I really latched onto it. I like that Link has his like little house there, and then in Tears it kind of turns into him and Zelda's house, maybe, hopefully.
She's clearly spent some time there.
Yeah. But you have like the stables, you've got like the older women or like the moms that are gossiping and are like, don't come over here. Like there's somebody each character.
You got the local artist.
Yeah, you have the local artist. You have the crazy scientist. You got Purah up there.
Yeah.
You can have like in Tears, you can make a little farm there.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much, and in Tears they have the schoolhouse, so you can go and be a teacher.
I do really enjoy the addition of the schoolhouse. So learning something about you a little bit, you've brought up the concept of teaching a few times now tonight.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be a teacher. It's really near to me. Whether it is teaching what we're at school for right now, like radio.
Yeah. Or
I always said if radio and like things just don't work out, I'll go back to school and be an English teacher. That's something I've always told myself.
Wow.
Because I love English. I like teaching English. I like grammar. So I think that it would be a nice time where I could like go work at the school, hang out with Purah because she's so cool. You could go to the inn, go to like get some groceries. You can go down to the water nearby there because there's like the little water area.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Very, very livable town. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Super charming little hotel. And actually that water area behind the dye shop even has that section where they've built up where it's only like 3 or 4 or 5 inches deep. The water's only like, you know, there's a good 5 or 6 feet where I imagine that's where people like do their laundry and stuff like that. Oh, wait, maybe that's why it's by the dye shop. Maybe that's where he cleans his fabric.
Absolutely is. I thought that too when I saw it. Because also the ladies are sitting there with like laundry baskets.
Yes.
It's so like
some community cooking pots and all that.
Yeah.
Oof, I get it. I hear you.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Ooh,
I could
wonderful.
talk about Hateno. I would live in Hateno my entire life if I could.
I've spent a little less time there in Tears. I mean, I've been doing the whole like political campaign storyline thing. That's fine. I'm not a huge fan of the new big mushrooms everywhere thing.
Me either.
But I don't know if you're supposed to be. I think they are supposed to be a little gaudy, honestly.
That's why I specifically said like in Breath of the Wild. Because Tears, it turns... Nothing against Tears. I like Tears. And I liked this quest line. But thinking about living there, I don't like how political it gets. And like... the whole mushroom thing. I love mushrooms. Don't get me wrong. I have some mushroom shirts and some mushroom jewelry and stuff. It's too much. It's too much, and they aren't colorful enough. Like, there's not really like red ones. It's like browns and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of weird, if I remember correctly. So Breath of the Wild,
great place
version
though.
of Hateno.
Yeah, totally. Except add the schoolhouse.
Add the schoolhouse, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Add the schoolhouse and add me being able to garden.
Right.
And we'll be set.
Yeah, I didn't realize you could make a garden in Tears. Yeah, I got to go spend some more time over there.
It's cool. I didn't realize until like kind of late game that you could do it.
Oh, interesting.
So
by the way, where I'm at in Tears right now, I just did the Gerudo like dungeon and final big boss, the big bug thing.
Yeah.
And so I have been spending a lot of time in that Gerudo town. And I do like in Tears that you don't have, I do like that they're just like, oh, Link, okay, you're certified. We'll put up with you.
Yeah, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
I am sad though that they got rid of his Gerudo outfit.
Wait, the female Gerudo outfit's not in Tears?
I don't think it is.
I mean, I don't have it yet. I just assumed it would be.
No, I don't think it is. I think you get the male Gerudo, but you don't get the female Gerudo, which is so sad.
That actually is disappointing. Yeah.
No, it's like it's everyone's favorite version of Link is his little like female Gerudo outfit. It's so cute.
I 100% play as Link in his Twilight Princess clothes, but apparently I got a Twilight Princess thing. It's all good.
So those are our top 5 each. Did you have any more honorable mentions?
Oh, I did think of a few while we were talking, but I don't know. Let me think about it a little bit here.
Okay. I will list some of mine. I'll list 3 real quick.
I'm only stuttering right now because I really did have like 2 or 3 and now I can't remember.
Yeah. First off, Mabe Village, which we both said honorable mention, obviously. The only reason it didn't make my top 5 is it's a little small. It's a little small for my taste. Mm-hmm. I'd like it a little bit bigger.
You got the trendy game, though.
You got the trendy game.
Turn that into a pinball hall, and that Mabe Village now is number 1.
You still got to spend money, though. You still got to spend money on it. And then I said Zora's Domain in Breath of the Wild.
Fascinating.
Again, didn't make the list because I don't like the thought of being soaked all the time. But
As a non-Zora, that would be a lot.
yeah, but I really like the water. I like swimming. I love the Zora people. I think they're awesome. I would love to see Prince Sidon in person because he is amazing and really cute to me. I know he's a fish guy, but whatever. And I just think everyone's really cool there. Everything's really nice, and I love the architecture.
Where do you think they sleep in Zora's domain?
So the Zora, they sleep in the water. They have,
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and then they have a pool in the center of like
For
the
the
first or second for the little kids to sleep in.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. If you talk to some of the people, they like will tell you about it. But for visitors and like Highlands, they have that little like inn area where they have beds. So I'd probably just set up there, maybe work at the inn so I could sleep there for free or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then my last one, kind of a weird one, but Korok Forest in Breath of the Wild.
Maybe. Actually, yes, all the way, except that there's going to just be, you're never going to have privacy.
That's true.
There's going to be Koroks everywhere poking out of every little thing.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the privacy part. I was more thinking, oh my god, these guys are kind of cute and funny. And it would be kind of cool just to hang out with the Deku tree.
I feel like you'd like wake up in the morning and there'd be two of them right there being like,
they would just be staring at you.
we brought you fruit.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, take the Korok Forest off the list.
But I think they're adorable, but to like live.
Yeah, you're right.
But all that lush like foliage and stuff, super cool. Love it. You'd get to look at the mist coming down over the Master Sword Stone all the time. That would be neat.
So I'm going to take that off. So let's say May Village and Zora's Domain.
I didn't mean to. Yeah.
No, you raised a very, that's absolutely.
I'd never even considered that as a variable until you said it. And then I like visualized living there and I was like, oh, it's all wonderful. And then in my not memory, in my imagination, I saw all these little Koroks popping out of the bushes and being like, oh my God.
It is fun though. Korok Village. Let's say to just visit for a bit would be nice. Maybe not to live, but to visit.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can pull like an Ocarina of Time one or something like that. I mean, yeah, maybe there's like some you could do Castletown, Ocarina of Time, whatever.
I heard that I don't know much about it, but I heard the town of Majora's Mask.
It's very cool. I almost put that on my list. I almost did. I actually really truly started typing it on my list, and then I don't know if this is fair or not, but I took it off because I was like, but it gets destroyed in 3 days. Like everyone, it's a cool town. But technically, and that's maybe more narrative than it is town.
Yeah.
But in the narrative, everyone's petrified. Everyone's just terrified because they know that their lives are going to end in 3 days.
I didn't realize that they all knew.
They do. And it's really, really, as you talk to the NPCs in Majora's Mask, you see a bunch of different examples of how people deal with inevitabilities. Some ignore it. Some embrace it. Some are terrified. Some make rash choices. And that's really what that story
that's cool.
Explores, which is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's in my opinion way deeper than anything that happens in Ocarina of Time at all. But if the moon wasn't falling, and I guess Termina post Endgame, right?
Post Endgame.
Yeah, it's super charming. Tons of cool towns. There's a couple gardens and stuff like that. There's jugglers. There's art. There's hotels. Yeah, yeah. Is there a Oracle of Ages or Seasons? I'm trying to think if there's any deep cuts there. They have nice, cute little towns. In Oracle of Ages, there's a cute little shack by the river that's actually kind of charming, but I digress. I don't know if I have many more honorable mentions.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. With our honorable mentions and our top 10. That's top 10 favorite places to live, or where we would live, I guess. Thank you for listening today. David, if they want to find you, where can they find you?
On the internet, they can find me at Raptor Paint on Twitter and Instagram, and I think I'm on Threads these days, because Instagram just auto puts you on. But I think I have one thread post, and it's literally, this is a test thread post is what I put down. And it already has likes, so it's super weird. But Raptor Paint is my internet handle.
Cool. If you want.
Oh wait, can I shout out Returning Student too?
Absolutely,
I mean, we always do that. I know most of the time it's the ad on these shows, but if people are inclined, Returning Student is really getting good. I've got some pretty good episodes in the queue here. We're almost done with season 1, but guaranteed this show is going to have 7 seasons because I'm living in season 5 right now. Actually, I think I'm technically this week starting season 6, as the way the timeline goes, because we're starting our school semester next week. And so there's going to be plenty of content, 9 episodes a season. It's taken me a little while to get each one edited because they're just so dense. There's so much storytelling. There's so much sound effects. There's so much music. But I would rather make them solid episodes that could kind of live on forever than just push out half-made ones.
Absolutely.
if I make Kady, I actually kind of visualize making Returning Student. Even though it's a podcast, it almost feels more like I'm like making a book.
I was
and
gonna
like
say.
each episode's a chapter is what it feels like. So I'm putting a lot of effort into it. Love it. And I know that you hear I know that all of you hear the ads constantly, but if you are so inclined, check it out. The best compliment I've gotten, and I've gotten it a few times now over the past couple months, a couple of my new coworkers, a couple friends, the best compliment I've gotten is, "Oh yeah, I've listened. It wasn't what I expected. It was better."
Good. Absolutely go do that. He puts a lot of effort into it, and it shows. It's really good.
I'm not trying to just like throw this out there, but you're going to be graduating after this semester, right?
I am. Hopefully.
So we maybe have to. Maybe we get you on there for season 6 a little bit and see what your journey is going to be like.
Absolutely.
I have been. So sorry, I don't mean to
No, I was
interrupt,
gonna
but
say, yeah.
I have been because it gets deeper. But like this is my original plan of going back to school is I was also supposed to be graduating this semester. And since I've had to go back to work, I have to go to school part-time now. So it's taking a little bit longer. So I've got another at least 3 semesters in my life going forward. And I'm not super excited about that. But in to compare and contrast that, I have been interviewing fellow students who are graduating this year.
Yeah.
And maybe it'd be fun to talk to you about that.
I'd really enjoy that.
It's a very different vibe than this.
Yeah.
It's totally different. You feel like you're on a totally different show. I mean, you will be, but anyway. All right.
So absolutely go listen to that. Go follow David. If you want to follow me, you can find me. I'm only on one thing. Sorry, guys. I'm on Instagram, Mind of Kady, Kady. And I'm also on my website, kadyroberts.com. If you want to see any of my voiceover work, hopefully I'll have more to add soon. But I've been auditioning. And if you want to find another Zelda podcast, obviously you're listening to it right now, but you can find it anywhere where you can listen to podcasts. You can also find us at anotherzeldapodcast.com to see more about not only me and David, but also all the lovely people that work behind the scenes. And you can catch up on all of the different seasons of this show. And you can also follow Another Zelda Pod on
Pod on Twitter because there weren't enough characters for podcast, but it's podcast everywhere else.
Okay. Another Zelda Podcast on everything except for Twitter, which is Another Zelda Pod. Thank you guys so much for listening, and tune in for the next episode, which is going to be...
I think it's going to be a favorites episode.
Yeah,
so it's just going to be
changes?
us talking about some of our favorite changes or developments or things that are different in Tears of the Kingdom from Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, so be ready for that. It's going to be great.
All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.